Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy SZ Star Artist, and so today we're gonna be talking about something that's low-key. It's not cliche, but I've heard it so many times in my life. I've heard it so many times just throughout my whole entire course of just my spiritual journey that it became, you know how sometimes you think of something that says so many times that you don't really see the value of it, or you're just like, oh, I hear so much that I ain't gonna say it can't happen to me, but it's not gonna happen to me, isn't it? You don't think that it'll happen to you until it happens to you. So, bad association spoils useful habits. When I tell you, I felt like a doggone poster board, I felt like a poster kid when I realized how much of that statement was real and how much of that statement came into fruition into my life when I wasn't checking who I was hanging around with. And I could literally tell you the moment, I could pinpoint to you the exact moment when it started happening, when that line came into my life in tenfold. It was literally November 2023. I'll never forget this. I had my first job as a cloud engineer. I was like 22 years old. No, I was like 20. Yeah, I was 20. That's when I was working two jobs. I was a cloud engineer, and I was working nights as a network engineer for a DOL. And I was there, and my friends literally got into the habit just because I wasn't on the same type of time as there were, like my peers and stuff. Like I wasn't going to parties, I wasn't hanging out, just playing basketball and stuff. I was really like focused on my career. I was really focused on my spirituality. They literally got into the habit of like, okay, it's not that we're just not going to invite him, but we're not going to invite him. We're not going to ask him to hang out because we know that he's not going to, I'm going to say put up a lot of stuff that we doing, but he's not really going to rock with a lot of stuff that we doing because he's, he on his grind type thing. And I literally, bro, I literally was in my room crying, bro. I remember this so vividly because being as young, I had everything that a 21, 22-year-old would want, bro. I was making more than most people's parents at the time, you feel what I'm saying? I had I had the car that I wanted. It wasn't nothing. It was a Nissan Altima, but still, it's a Nissan Altima, bro. It's like, I love that car, you feel what I'm saying? I loved it to the day I wrecked it. But I had so much, but I felt so empty because, and I had people that was around me, don't get me wrong, but I felt empty because the people that I grew up with, the ones that I call my brothers, bro, my day ones, bro, doggone, I know some of these kids since I was doggone in middle school, high school, bro, like we're not hanging out anymore. That joint hurt a lot, bro. I was like, bro, I would literally just stay in the crib and cry, bro. And like I literally had enough money to get up and take whatever trip I want, go anywhere where I wanted, bro. But I was just like, bro, it's not going to feel right because I'm going to do it by myself. And I literally prayed, and this was there's no such thing as a dumb prayer, but this was the dumbest prayer. And it's not, I'm even going to say dumb prayer. Because at the end of the day, everything is experience. But this prayer I prayed, and it was just so heavy, bro. It was, I ain't gonna say it was a dark, but it was just so, it was sad, bro. It was a sad point in my life, I'm not even gonna lie. And I literally prayed, can I please be like everybody else? That's all I want. I don't want none of this special stuff. Like I know, like I literally just prayed to God. I was like, yo, just allow me to be like everybody else. Because I feel like even ever since I was ever since I was younger, I always was different. Whether it was not necessarily my conscience, but I felt things on a deeper level. I looked at everything on a deeper level ever since I was younger. Not saying I was smarter than nobody, I was better than nobody. Don't get me wrong, I still made mistakes, but everything I can't simply, how sometimes your peers could just listen to a song and you're like, yo, like, are you listening to what this guy is saying in the song? Like, we shouldn't be listening to his music. And everybody's around you like, oh, just listen to it. It's a good song. It's a good song. It's a good song. I was that kid, bro. Like, I can't do things without reason, bro. I was literally that kid at 19, 20 years old. You feel what I'm saying? And I was like that about everything, bro. I didn't see the need of, oh, let's go play basketball for a whole 3 hours, bro, and instead of making money, instead of working on ourselves spiritually, instead of let's go, like I had to have a reason in doing certain things, and I just didn't see the reason. And I was like, man, like I just want to be at a point where I can just enjoy life with my friends, bro. That's all I wanted, bro. That's all I wanted at the time, bro. And I got exactly what I asked for. I got exactly what I asked for, bro. I stopped caring. I started going to parties. I started doing what they were doing, bro. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, it was fun at the time, you feel me? But even then, with everything going on, I still felt something off. I was like, man, like, I'm not even supposed to be in, and not saying that we was doing anything like too crazy or anything like that, you feel what I'm saying? But it's like, I just know that I could have been doing something better at the time, but I just didn't care, man. So fast forward, I put myself in a position where I'm not where I could have been in life. And I'm not, and at the time, and even now, I know I could be much further, but the path that I was going on was a path that I wasn't sure that I wanted to go on either, you feel me? I could have been in a whole entire different trajectory, a whole entire different direction. But is that what I would have wanted to do with my life? At the time, it was, but as I'm older now, I'm starting to realize, and as I'm analyzing certain parts of my life, I'm realizing that a lot of things that I was doing in life was to please other people, or this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what the image I'm supposed to have, you feel me? And not saying that's a bad thing, that's not a bad thing, but in life you have to, and one thing I'm realizing is, and one of the lessons that I'm learning is, you have to, obviously, the 4 fundamentals of your life is spiritual, emotional, mental, obviously, physical, and what's the third one I say? Financial. And then you have hobbies, and then you have association. So it's 6 really. But you have to find what you're supposed to be doing, but then put in a little, I'm not gonna say, you have to find a balance of what you're supposed to be doing, who you're supposed to be, and who you want to be. If that makes sense. That may not make sense, and I have to articulate that a little bit better, because who you may want to be a crash out, and that's not who you're supposed to be. You feel what I'm saying? But then at the end of the day, you make your image of, you're supposed to be this engineer, you're supposed to have this prestigious corporate job, and you don't want to do that. You just want to be an artist. That's okay. I articulate that well, but you just have to have the example behind it, because that sounded crazy at first. It's so cliche when people say, I don't feel like this is who I'm supposed to be. I just want to do what I want to do. No, I'm not telling you that. But what I'm saying is, find the balance of who you're supposed to be, but what you also want the trajectory of your life to be. Because who you're supposed to be is who just the people around you think you're supposed to be. Really, it's you and God in your relationship with yourself. You know, when you're doing that time, when you did a mistake, when you did a crime, when you sinned, and you have that time alone, it's just you and God. You feel me? Your buddy's not gonna be there with you. You know, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just really analyzing everything. Really just psychoanalyzing myself a little bit. Therapy will also be very, very helpful. I'm looking for a good therapist. And I feel like that's the only trash part. I don't know what it was when I was younger. It was so easy to find a therapist when I was younger, and maybe because I wasn't actually actively looking, but it was like they just came in abundance. Now it's like, and I feel like that's always been my reserve about therapy, is that some therapists aren't really. It's almost like teachers, bro. You ever had a teacher that didn't like teaching? They didn't like you're a whole teacher. You don't like kids. And the money's not even good. So I don't even know why people was getting in teaching careers if they didn't like the. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But it's kind of like that. Some therapists are good therapists. Some therapists are just therapists for the bread. You feel me? But that's for every career. You know, some people love tech. I love tech. Some people just love the money in tech. So they may not be good at the job. You know, but it's just different when it affects an actual individual's trajectory of their life. You could be a bad engineer and you may tear down the network and stuff like that. That's cool. But if you're a bad therapist, you could really mess with somebody's head. You know, that's not a good thing. So, and then there's also good therapists, but they may not just be the therapist for you. So that's also something I'm looking into. But definitely, bad association spoils useful habits. It's in the Bible. Everyone knows this, but literally you just have to, and to a certain extent, celebrities are looked down upon because they don't interact with their fans, are so exclusive. But you have to treat yourself to some extent, not necessarily like a celebrity, but you have to hold yourself to a higher standard. Are my friends doing what I'm trying to do for my life? Are my friends moving in a certain way that I'm doing? You know, then I can't rock with them. I'm not saying you don't love them, but you just can't hang with them on that type of level anymore, and that's okay. As we get older. And it's sad, and it's something that I literally, because I've always been that kid when I was younger that I just wanted everybody to be friends. I wanted everybody to be homies. I wanted everybody to be around. I wanted everybody to just stick with me. You feel me? But it's not the case. That's not reality. People grow apart. People are going to move differently. People are going to change, and change is not a bad thing. Change is an amazing thing, because if you are not the type of person to change, you're the type of person to stay the same. If you stay the same your whole entire life, you're not making any progress. So change is an amazing thing. Don't let social media say, don't let the propaganda of Nah, I've been the same since I was young, and I've been doing. No, that's a terrible. That's not good, bro. That's not a good thing. You're bragging about it, but it's not a good thing. You feel me? Like literally, just changing is what is signs that you're bettering yourself. You can't be better if you don't change. You can't have the same amount. If you're growing, you're going from 1, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. You're not. That's change. You're not gonna be the same person as you was 1 year old as you was at 10 years old. That's just if you are, that's an issue. You ever seen someone that's 30 years old that reads on a 3rd grade reading level? That's why they didn't change. It's like, yeah, I'm still the same. That's gangster. I'm gonna say no, that's not gangster. That's dumb. That doesn't make sense. You feel me? So that's literally just fine. And it's a lot of it is sad, but it's some things is just because it's a lot of it is just the imperfect system we live in, imperfect people, and just the way that things aren't, like the reality of the situation. Sometimes you just gotta find 1 or 2 friends that are on the same path as you and just lock in on them. You can't have the same 5, 6, 7, 8 homeboys that you used to kick it with. You can't have that. You gotta find them 2 people. It may just be 2 people, and it may be 2 people that you wasn't rocking with at first, which is crazy. A lot of people that I'm friends with now, I was not friends with when I was younger. That's actually crazy. Literally just find those 2 people and just lock in with them. Come on, Toyota. Come on, Bree. It's a doggone Prius driver. Come on, bro. Just drive, bro. We all driving at a steady rate, bro. But literally just find those 1 or 2 people that are on the same mission as you and just lock in with them. Literally just lock in with them. Say, hey, like, I'm trying to get to the next level. And a lot of times, a lot of your peers are not as introspective as you. A lot of peers are not as introspective. A lot of peers aren't even going to think on the same type of level that you're thinking on. A lot of people just take life as things go, or a lot of people try to get over. A lot of people just think everything is a game and thing. And don't get me wrong, life is not as serious as we make it. It is, but it's not. If that makes sense. Like life is very, very. When I think of serious, I think of permanent. Life is not as permanent as we think it is, and that's why a lot of times people take life a little too serious. That's why people get angry. That's why people get upset when things don't work out as things planned, and that's cool. Obviously, I get upset when things don't work out as planned, but at the end of the day, I know that life it's not linear. Growth isn't a straight path. Come on, bro, use your signal light on. Growth is not a straight path. Growth has its ups, it has its downs, it has its sides. You feel me? It's not just everything doesn't go straight up, and that's okay. Because if everything went straight up, wouldn't that be a little too easy? So that was just my bit for today. That's just from a lot of golly talking league. That's just my bit for today. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. On our way to 100K subscribers. Really on our way to a K. Once we get to 1K, I'll feel better. Because all we have to do is do that 99 more times, and then we'll get to where we need to get to. Y'all stay safe. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Hope you guys find this helpful. Drop a comment on what you guys want to see next. I appreciate you guys for tuning in for real. And stay safe.